Hi, I'm Tiko, and I'm here today because I think the Osmose is the best synth and keyboard for playing leads and solos. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down my entire approach to playing leads on the Osmose. We're going to be taking a look at the preset I use, the changes I make to that preset, the effects I add in my DAW, and the techniques I use on the Osmose and how those affect my playing and my lead writing. So the preset I use on the Osmose is my favorite preset on this entire instrument. It's called Nostalgia. And the changes I make for the preset are as follows. I go into the Synth tab, then Global Effects, and I turn the echo all the way down. Then I go into the voice setting and make sure the pitch bend is set at 2 semitones. For these presets and my lead sounds, in general, I like to keep the pitch at 1 semitone. Because that gives me a lot of control with the vibrato. I find that if it's more than 1 semitone, 2 semitones or above, my vibrato control gets a bit out of hand. So that's why I always use 1 semitone. And lastly, I go to the mod and pedal page. And then I assign the mod slider to control the cutoff. And I set the mean value at 63, which is the default cutoff of this preset. I've saved this as a duplicate in the user bank, so I still have the original Nostalgia preset available as well. I turned down the echo all the way down because I prefer to add my own time-based effects. Let's take a look at that now. So first of all, I'm adding a stereo delay. I'm using the Waves H delay because that's what I have and that's what I'm used to. But any type of stereo delay that can do like a ping pong type deal, it will work. I like to keep the feedback down, so there's only a couple repeats, and also the mix I keep down, just so the delay doesn't overpower the sound itself. After the delay, I like to run this into a shimmer reverb, and again, this is just for a little kiss to create extra depth and extra ambience. You can see my settings here. With these changes, plus the extra effects, the preset now sounds like this. Okay, time to dive into the techniques. Let's start with the basics and start with pressure. When I got the Osmose, I was super excited about the vibrato and the pressure glide. But just the pressure itself is such a big deal. Let's check it out. I'm able to do these super dynamic volume swells without using a mod wheel or slider or a CC pedal. And once you add vibrato to this, it's another level. And the way you can do a crescendo and then a decrescendo as well is just out of this world. What I like to do is match the vibrato to the pressure. So when I start soft, the vibrato is very slight. And when I press in, the vibrato gets stronger. Same thing in reverse when doing a decrescendo. And if I want a more powerful crescendo, that's where the mod slider comes in, where we have that extra reach on the cutoff. Makes all the difference just to have that extra nuance over here on the slider. And also, if I'm playing a solo over a busier track, it makes it easier to cut through. But the name of the game is using it just a bit here and there for that extra dynamic expression. Let's move on to pressure glide. Now this one transformed my playing. So did the vibrato and the pressure. There's just so many good things about this instrument. But hear me out. Being able to do this just so crazy. Because previously you needed a joystick or a pitch wheel and a ton of control, a ton of practice to really nail those bends and be in sync with the hands. This is just so mind-blowing. Too good, too good. So a good way to practice using this in your solos and your lead playing is to pick a target note. Let's do A. I'm using A minor pentatonic here. So my target note is A. What I do is I pick one note below in the scale and play that briefly before my target note. So this becomes this. You can even do it 2 times, 3 times. And then continue. So good. Let's pick another target note. Let's do D. Same thing. Go one note down on the scale and then play it briefly before the target notes. Such a nice sound. I grew up listening to a lot of guitar music, guitar virtuosos. I've been dying to get this sound this easily on the keyboard. Nothing else does it quite like the Osmose. You can also do it from above, so let's keep the target note the same D and pick a note above following the scale. But I really like the sound of going from below. And there I went 2 notes below the target. My target note was a C and I played an A before it. Such a beautiful sound, and like with all these techniques, the key to really making this instrument sing is sprinkle all these techniques, combine them, find a musical way to really become one with the instrument. So if we do a bit of pressure glide in context. There we go. Oof, such a nice sound. I will never ever get tired of this one. So good, so good. Okay, let's move on to pitch. Now the vibrato we already covered. But the fact that you can also do a pitch bend just on the keys. Super underrated. And now here comes the good stuff, because if we take a look at the pitch slider, remember we put 2 semitones on the pitch slider, so we can do 2 up and 2 down. Now you might be wondering, why do we need the pitch slider if we have the pitch bend in the key itself? I'll show you a few things I love to do with the pitch slider. So first of all, let's do this kind of a pre-bend, which is pretty much the same technique as the exercise for the pressure glide, just like a slower and a bit more laid back of a sound. Compared to the pressure glide. If you want that like slower bend up, this is the key. I find that if I go slow on the pressure glide, it's not as smooth as the pitch slider. And also when I do a 2 semitone bend up, then I then want to bend back down. This is perfect. So I could go. And when I want to do a long sustained note and have as much control over the vibrato during that note, I either use the pressure glide or the pitch wheel. Because if you use the pitch bend on the key itself and have it bended up or down, it's harder to do the vibrato and you have less range. So if you bend up all the way, which is one semitone on our presets, you can only do vibrato down and back up. But if we do that with either the pressure glide or the pitch bend slider, we get vibrato up and down, which is just something I prefer more. Another technique with the pitch slider is one I've stolen from guitar players. I'm sure you've heard this sound before. So what I do is play 2 semitones below my target note and then instantly bend it up. So here I'm starting on a G and then bending it up to an A. Then I let go of the G note and the pitch slider and then play a regular A right after. Such an organic guitar type of sound. Let's do it one more time up to speed. And this works slow and fast. One of my favorite things to do when doing a solo. Okay, another technique I've stolen from guitar players. This one I call the double bend. Okay, so what I did was went up to a D and then used the pitch slider to bend that up 2 semitones into an E. And then used the pitch on the key itself to bend it up an additional semitone. And then brought down both the pitch slider and the pitch on the key itself. So such a nice sound. Again, so many good sounding options with this. So you don't necessarily need to use the pitch slider on this one. I could play all day long with just but it's just that extra level of expression and control when you combine the two. Okay, one more technique using the pitch slider. This one I like to use when I want a really melancholic and sad and emotional sound. Let's say I have a long sustained note. Let's pick something like an C note. Of course, I'm gonna add some vibrato. But then, with the pitch slider, I bend it down slightly just before letting go of the note. Gives that like longing whale type sound. I absolutely love that sound. Hits me in the feels every time. And of course with the Osmose you can do a decrescendo at the same time as you're bending down. So again, a super slight nuance but makes all the difference in being in total control of the instrument when playing leads. I want to say a few words about how the Osmose has affected my approach in lead and solo playing. Because before playing solos on traditional keyboards and synths, the control just wasn't there. I mean, it's easy to like pick a normal keyboard, do a lead sound, and then like play fast and loud and do more energetic stuff, flashy stuff. That's all easy. But when you want nuance and control and to be gentle, that's where it falls short for me. On the Osmose, biggest difference compared to a traditional keyboard is I can sit on a single note and really make it alive and interesting. I can make a note sing, I can make a note weep, and just sit on one note for a longer time without it sounding artificial or boring. And even if I want to do something rhythmic with the pressure, That's something I do in a more energetic backing. I got a bit carried away, but it's so hard to not get carried away when playing this one, because it's just instant connection. My favorite thing about the Osmose, all like the expressive capabilities aside, my absolute favorite thing about this instrument is the way that from day one it just felt right, you know. The first time I powered it on and played, like, it reads your mind, it's super intuitive to play. I didn't have to get accustomed and tweak my playing style to this keyboard. It plays just like I imagined it would. It responds to touch like none other. It's such an exceptional instrument. Okay, let's close off with some soloing. Thanks for watching.